Jnana-timirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshunmilitam Jene Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manubhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantika Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Wo ist der Sebastian? Hat jemand Sebastian gesehen?
Der kommt.
Nicht mehr. Der noch Sebastian heißt.
I think he left.
Soll ich es?
Nein,
So I return to speaking English, and reflecting after this beautiful Sunday feast of yesterday and the inauguration of the temple of Radha Vinodji in Berlin. Now we are coming to the burning topics. The burning topics. Wunderlich über nichts vom Paramadvaiti. Löwengeschrei. Paramatma Meditationskurse. Sankirtan. So these next 3 days in Berlin is intensive meditation of personal commitment to the Berlin Yatra. Why? Because we want to progress in our service to the community. And after the beautiful experience of Saturday, we want to start a permanent drama troupe. A group which goes out and makes awareness dramas in Berlin with a specific background of having the drama, inviting for drama, and creating drama in a specific drama seminar which meets once a week and produces the next dramas, and then have the day to put it into practice, like especially Sunday mornings. People are out there, maybe Saturday also. So we want to start this drama troupe. Now we're looking for somebody who wants to head this program up. Somebody like my Janat, for example, very artistically inclined people. Like I say. Mayapur would also be a very genius fellow in this regard. He has been part of the drama in old days, even in Berlin, if I'm remembering right. The time of Gopini, did you play in the drama? You did, huh? So my memory did not fail. So it may be a very genius department of giving lots of life to the relationship with the public. To my feeling, more intensive even than the Harinam itself, even though the Harinam has a traditional value by bringing divine sound into the public, which is very rare. You don't go on the street, you don't find anybody coming down the road and chanting the names of God. It's only Lord Chaitanya's people do that. Right? So, it's pretty amazing. Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan, up and down the road. So many people, they go to a temple and pray for getting fortune, money and everything. Whatever motivation they have to go to the temple. But to go in the street to just chant the glories of the Lord without any desire, no expectation, just for touching people's hearts, just for giving the great message. Because in temples and communities have a great value, but especially communities, more than temples in a way. Because in temple people come and go, and this whatever's in a community, you have to relate to people living there, relate to something going on there. But the Harinam Sankirtan, or the street performance, the Sankirtan of the devotees, is of a very unique nature, because you don't know who you're going to meet, and you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what business you got out there. You really don't know. But one thing you know, that all these people out there, they're your brothers and sisters in dire need. That you do know. And this feeling that there's people in need, that should be your motivation to go out there. And if you think, why are they in need? Please remember yourself when you were in dire need. Yesterday somebody sent me an article, believe it or not, about meat eating. And of course I read and wrote and produced things about meat eating for the last 30 years. But this was a short article, and it took a different take. It took the take, if the world would go vegetarian, we could stop all the starving in the world. And then giving the numbers proving that. And it's very nice that the take, it was like, if I don't become a vegetarian, I am guilty for starvation in the world. Wow! That's, people talk about compassion, people talk about health, but to really recognize concentratedly, if I eat meat, I'm responsible for the starvation and the suffering and so many things. The take of this article, it struck me. Very good. It gives all the advantages. What would it be if the world turns vegetarian? No, it's a really, really good article. So we have to sometimes old wine in new bottles, Yeah, okay, now it's time for you to understand why we should spread vegetarianism. I can show you something new which we're doing in South America. For that, I need somebody to go and pull from my little bag. There is some plastified sheets, and there's also some diplomas. Bring her, hier du bitte. Oder du findest das auch, du weißt. Also bring das alles. I will show you a new system we are using for spreading vegetarianism in South America. It was just, the idea was given last year, and we're just putting it slowly into practice. So enlightened, yes, and it is true. Those who eat meat, they eat the food of those who are starving. They are guilty of monoculture number one called grass. Grass, every day, pasture. And in order to get pasture, what do? Cut all the trees. That's how you get pasture. Cutting all the trees means big disaster. No more forest, no more place to live for the birds, no more place to live for the deer, no more place to live for anyone. So pasture is a big problem. So spoon revolution, this is our contribution. I myself, being a vegetarian and putting all the Sunday feasts every Sunday, I'm doing my work for vegetarianism, but in the end I felt, no, I'm not doing my work. These animals are suffering so terribly, and the humans are suffering because they're so ignorant, and we are not spelling out against them, we are not getting actively involved. It cannot be. We have to make a statement. So we made the spoon revolution, and spoon revolution is quite active. But the spoon revolution later, by all the other developments, the World Conscious Pact and all that, it took a little bit of a different turn. The United Nations of the Spirit also takes a little bit of the different turn, but the spoon revolution is a member, like the World Conscious Pact is the environmental movement which emphasizes the need of not killing animals. Because most of the environmental movements, they don't say that. And why? Well, you watch the movie Cowspiracy, then you understand why the people are not putting out the real culprit of the problems of this world. Because the real culprit is the meat eater. He eats unconsciously, and he keeps a machinery going, which is so bad that even today, 2016, the meat consumption of planet Earth is going up, not down. Still going up. Why? Because there's still forests you can cut. There's still an increase you can do for the devastation of our habitat. And that's what they're doing. They cut more forest, they plant more soil, they have more forest. And what's feeding the animals? Do you know one of the biggest feeding source of the animals in the industries?
Fish and stuff.
No, fish. They're fed, dehydrated fish meal or powder. And everything goes in there. Whales. It's just like if you see the pictures of that industry, it is so unbelievable. All the beauties of the sea just get pulled together and then in a huge thing just dumped alive into the slaughter machines. They don't look at each fish individually, they know it's all a huge destruction. So, and then, who are those fish? Those fish, they are all plankton eaters. And what's plankton? Plankton is the incredible little living entity in the ocean which produces oxygen. And all the plastic which goes into the ocean eventually becomes powder by the rubbing and the time, and then it gets attached to the plankton. Just the plastic powder settles on that. That plankton is eaten by the fish. That fish is caught and is put into fish meal. That is fed to the slaughterhouse industry. That meat from those animals is eaten by the human beings. Means you're eating the plastic you're throwing into the ocean. And that's why people are sterile, homosexual. There's so much disbalance in the chemistry. There is a big problem from that coming for whole humanity. Here's our latest attempt of increasing vegetarianism. It is called the certificate of conscious consumption. We have 16 spoons which a person can get in the restaurant. There they can hang this into the restaurant. That means they have a certificate of a number of spoons. That's the quality. So, of course, no meat is a spoon, no fish another spoon, no eggs is another spoon, no industrialized white flours, another spoon, no white sugar, another spoon, without all organic, another spoon, without industrial milk products, another spoon, nothing fried, another spoon, no oils used which are industrial oils, another spoon, no transgenics or other chemicals, another spoon. That they have an option to have crude, non-cooked food is another spoon. They don't use any plastic in their products, in their production process, and no play table, another spoon. They give a discount to those who hold the passport, the World Citizen Passport. Those who hold the World Citizen Passport, they get a discount in those restaurants, another spoon. Prepared with love and in family restaurant, get another spoon. So you can have a total of 16 spoons if you're the top quality restaurant. So they are supposed to put this on the table. They can have one for each table, or one is hanging. And people will read this. This explains all the reasons why they're getting these spoons. So the people, while they're waiting for the food, they're reading about the spoon revolution, the world conscious pact passport, and the activities. So it is like, can you imagine you go in a restaurant and on the table you find this plate. Oh, this is a certificate of conscious consumption. And then get to know your compromise with your health. So in this way, it's our latest attempt. It's already in many restaurants. But to get anything going like this, of course, most restaurants don't want to show that they only have 4 spoons. So it's actually obliges restaurants. Do we want to get more spoons? Do we want to take care? No oils, no fried stuff, no. It's a health check. But after a while, if we win this battle, people will go in a restaurant and says, "Where's your spoon certificate?" As soon as the consumer will ask this to the people, the guys in the restaurant will start shaking. Because the neighbor restaurant has the spoon certificate and you don't have it. Get it? It's a chain reaction which is being produced. Nobody really likes to have it, but they will have to have it because people say, "Oh, I want to be careful of my food. How many spoons you got here?" Huh? Like all the hotels, they don't like to admit that they only have 3 stars. They all want to say we have 5 stars, 6 stars, 7-star hotel. But because the competition obliges them, no? So it's on the same principle of the stars of the hotels. So we have the spoons of the restaurant and other food services. This is one idea. Another one. This is a special gift of the University of Ancient Wisdom. In the University of Ancient Wisdom, you get your certificate when you enter, not when you leave. So, first you get a graduation. And what's the graduation? You will be recognized as a guardian of Mother Earth. Now we will specify what do you do, what is your special assignment. And this is not a diploma, like people say, "Oh, I want to get the diploma." This is a diploma. Diploma means it's a feather. So, according to the announcement of the ancient tribes, they said, when the condor of the south and the eagle of the north will meet in the nest of the colibri, then there will be a new paradigm spelled out. And we added to it, we brought in the Amazon guacamayo and the peacock from the east. So they all met together and they created this. So you can get one of these diploma if you belong to any of these categories and you are actually a guardian of Mother Nature. It is like a certificate of your alliance. And we have given this to many people and people really like it. And of course in the back it's pretty much explained who are the supporters of this, which organizations using it, and what it is. So I will let one pass. Of course it's in Spanish because we did this in South America, but you can have a look at it and then people are graduating from the Utsav courses, they also get it. Pluma is a certain feather you can gain, because the feather is the merciful recognition of Mother Nature. That's why the native people always have feathers in their crown. No? This is the feather is a very important communicator there. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So let's see what kind of a surprise this morning we have. So Can you open the book today? You? See, because we have a special verse coming for today. Just open it. Yes, you will give us the morning verse of today. Thank you. It's a very long one. Pravishya tatyirtavaram adiraja sahatmaja dadarsha munim ashinam tasmin huta utashanam vidyatamanam vapusha tapas ugra jujachiram natikshaman bhagavata snigdha pangava lokanat tat vyatamrita kala pyasa shravanacha prasum padma palashakam yatilam chidavashasham upasham shritya malinam yatarhanam asam kritam. Entering the most sacred spot with his daughter and going near the sage, the first monarch, Swayambhuva Manu, saw the sage sitting in his hermitage, having just propitiated the sacred fire by pouring oblation into it. His body shone most brilliantly, though he had engaged in austere penance for a long time. He was not emaciated, for the Lord had cast his affectionate sidelong glances upon him, and he had also heard the nectar flowing from the moon-like words of the Lord. The sage was tall, his eyes were large, like the petals of a lotus, and he had matted locks on his head. He was clad in rags. Swayambhuva Manu approached and saw him to be somewhat soiled, like an unpolished gem. Srila Prabhupada explains. Here are some description of a brahmacary yogi. In the morning, the first duty of the brahmachari seeking spiritual elevation is Hutasana, to offer sacrificial oblations to the Supreme Lord. Those engaged in brahmachari cannot sleep until 7 or 9 o'clock in the morning. They must rise early in the morning at least 1.5 hours before the sun rises and offer oblations. Or in this age, they must chant the holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna. As referred to by Lord Chaitanya, Kalau nashti eva nashti eva gati anyata. There's no other alternative in this age to chanting the holy names of the Lord. A brahmachari must rise in the morning and after placing himself should chant the holy name of the Lord. From the very feature of the sage, it appears that he had undergone great austerities. That is a sign of one observing brahmacharya, the vow of celibacy. If one lives otherwise, it will be manifest in the lust visible in his face and body. The word Vidyalamanam indicates that the brahmachari's features showed in his body. That is a certificate that one has undergone great austerities in yoga. A drunkard or smoker or sexmonger can never be eligible to practice yoga. Generally, yogis look very skinny because of their not being comfortably situated. But Kardama Muni was not emaciated, for he had seen the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face. Here the word Shnikta Pangavalokanat means that he was fortunate enough to see the Supreme Lord face to face. He looked healthy because he had directly received the nectarian sound vibration from the lotus lips of the personality of Godhead. Similarly, one who hears the transcendental sound vibration of the holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna, also improves in health. We have actually seen that many brahmacharis and grihastas connected with the International Society for Krishna Consciousness have improved in health, and a luster has come to their faces. It is essential that a brahmachari engaged in spiritual advancement look very healthy and lustrous. The comparison of the sage to unpolished gem is very appropriate. Even if a gem just taken from a mine looks unpolished, the luster of the gem cannot be stopped. Similarly, also Kardama was not properly dressed and his body was not properly cleansed. The overall appearance was gem-like. Seeing that the monarch had come to his hermitage and was bowing down before him, the sage greeted him with benedictions and received him with due honor. After receiving the sage's attention, the king sat down and was silent. Recalling the instructions of the Lord, Kardama then spoke to the king as follows, delighting him with his sweet accent. The tour you have undertaken, O Lord, is surely intended to protect the virtues and kill the demons, since you embody the protection energy of Sri Hari. You assume when necessary the part of the sun god, the moon god Agni, and the god of fire Indra, the lord of paradise Vayu, the wind god Yama, the god of punishment Dharma, the god of piety, and Varuna, the god presiding over the waters. All obeisances to you, who are none other than Lord Vishnu. Om Jnanatimnandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Shakshurmilitam Jeni Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manuvistam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Vipakadamayam Tadadisva Padantikam. So here we have a very interesting description where the sage Kardama is compared to Lord Vishnu. I think he may be amongst the Shakti Avesha avatars. But regardless of that, it is often said in the scripture, a spiritual master should be treated like he was God. And this creates a tremendous confusion, because there is many people in this world, they proclaim that they are God. Then there's others that proclaim that we are all God. Then there's others who proclaim that we are not really God, we are just energy. So different ways taking on this topic. Now here, from a clear Vaishnava background, Srimad Bhagavatam and Prabhupada, it is explained that Kardama Muni received the king, and the king glorified him. And as a king, he was also glorified. So, divinity is visible and divinity is present. We see divinity if we are fortunate enough. We can see the divinity of Thakurji on the altar. We can see divinity by reading the books. We can see the divine when we eat prasadam. So, This is Krishna himself. Very delicious. You can taste divinity. We can appreciate divinity in our own coming to life, father and mother. They are also very holy for us. We can appreciate divinity in Shastra. We can appreciate divinity